All right, guys. If you like the videos, like, sub, silly, comment, share, support the channel if you want. I appreciate it. So I got COVID again, cause if it's worth doing once, it's worth doing twice. We've already fucked up the joke. Anyway, so I'm just going to. I think last video I was actually coughing a bit too. So update on everything that's been going on health wise. So, of course, just regular health stuff going on. My health in general is not good. So I was in Turkey. Besides normal health stuff going on, I got food poisoning pretty much every day, an infection, and I got like E. coli and bronchitis. So even with this recent COVID I've been using the bronchitis medicine I got. So I've basically been at the hospital doctors almost every other day for like a month and a half since Turkey. I got the poo-poo infection, E. coli, and normally that should be recovering sooner than this, but because of my weakened immune system, you can guess, and the bronchitis, and my doctors, in their infinite wisdom, they're like, oh man, we should give you some steroids, we should give you some antibiotics because this isn't getting better. And I was like, dude, you guys know you're not supposed to be giving me any of this shit because the last time I took antibiotics, I was dying from C. diff. And they're like, oh no, this isn't something that people normally have side effects from. You will be okay. Well, thankfully, it's mostly gone now, but I'm going to show you. This is what happened when the doctors gave me the zpak. I only had to take it one time. Can you see this? I don't know how well that's showing up. Come on. Well, you can kind of see it, right? So, basically, I broke out in a rash all over, pimples all over, blah 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 blah. Mostly gone now. It just kind of looks like I have like a razor burn all over my upper body. So that was not good. Allergic reaction to that. And then of course last week I got COVID again. Crazy. I cannot believe I didn't get COVID again in Turkey considering everything else that was happening. But yeah, so to compare COVID this second time to the first time, because the first time I got it, like I said, the first time I got COVID, it was probably the sickest I've been since I couldn't walk 5 or 6 years ago, and maybe the sickest I've been since I was dying. Like I said, it was really bad. To compare the first and the first time between the Delta, and I got COVID the first time at a movie shoot I was at. One of the guys that was at the movie, he had just gone to a concert, and I'm sure he gave it to everybody, right? So it is what it is, and it's been 10 months almost 10 months exactly. Not almost exactly. I think it's been like 9.5 months actually, to be more precise, but maybe it's been 10 months, 9.5 months, whatever. But that's not important. But even since COVID, so I've only had like half my smell since COVID the first time. As I've said, it's one of the reasons, besides others, that I stopped doing fragrance reviews. But so that sucks. So right when I got this COVID, a few days after I got it, I lost my smell again, and I lost a lot of my taste this time, which was weird too. And this time, COVID compared to the other time, I will say, first 2 days, first 2 days, very sick. I was sick to the point that I was like, oh my God, do I need to go to the ER? Super sick. I was getting body pain. I could feel it in my arms again. And like I said, the weird thing about COVID when I had it before, I had like weird body pain. I had like really bad body pain. Couldn't get comfortable. And I collapsed the first time I had COVID, but didn't collapse this time. But it was really warm. You know what I mean? I would assume low-grade fever or something. I don't know about a full-blown fever, but I didn't have a thermometer to test. But, oh man, very, very sick. Felt very unwell. Terrible headache. Like burning up my body. Again, I don't know about a full fever, but I was at least a low-grade fever, I'm sure. And something too, and it happened the first time I said I had COVID as well. I was almost at the point of like delirium. Like I was trying to sleep and I couldn't get comfortable. And this sounds so weird. I was having weird dreams those first 2 days about math problems. Oh, Jesus Christ, math. What are we, like weird things. And I kept having this like weird, almost hallucination dream about a red line and going forward. And you know, the weird thing is, I compared the first time I had COVID to almost like C. diff, some of the things, because when I had C. diff, dude, remember, I couldn't do anything for a year when I had C. diff. And man, C. diff was so crazy when I was dying from that, because then they give you that really strong flagyl medicine. And boy, that is, I've had permanent side effects from that. That was so hard to get over again. It took me a year before I could even work out again. I was collapsing for 6 months, and when they give you that flagyl, you know, you're so tired, and you like have super like night terrors. And since I kept collapsing, you would basically collapse, and you would wake up in like a sweat because you'd have like a night terror. You'd collapse again. You know what I mean? It was fucking terrible. Like you're like hallucination almost kind of dreams. Just terrible. You know what I mean? Because you're so sick, you can't move. And I've told that one story. I could even go in the house and show you. I remember to this day times when I would try to cook food when I had C. diff after that. And you know, I was collapsing so much. And I just remember one day, I just remember exactly where I collapsed at the house. And I just woke up, but it was such a matter of fact that it was happening. I remember collapsing over there in the living room, and you're just like waking up with like a night terror, like but you're throughout the entire day. You're just walking over to the oven, and all the food was already cold, but I had passed out again and just like eating frozen or not frozen anymore chicken. I don't know, weird image, but we're supposed to be talking about C. diff again. So this time C. diff, you know, the weird time, unlike the first time I had it, after the first 2 days, it mainly just felt like a really bad cold and flu. And I got a really bad sore throat that I didn't have the first time. And the boogers and the coughing and the breathing was much worse. Like maybe this COVID would have been worse, but again, I still have the bronchitis medicine upstairs that I've been using for the breathing. It's from the turkey trip, from that infection that I got. Um, so, the weird thing is when I said I first had COVID, I didn't start having breathing and a lot of coughing and booger stuff until I was in the hospital, and they eventually gave me the antibody therapy, and then that brought on everything like that. That brought on then those symptoms. But this was, you know, pretty much, you know, second day I was, you know, coughing, or actually I was coughing the first day, but the boogers and the sore throat and everything like that. You know what I mean? This was felt much more like a really bad flu and cold. Unlike where the first time I had COVID, I was like, oh my God, this is one of the sickest I've been since I've been dying. Besides the first 2 days of this, which again, I was like, oh my God, do I need to go to the ER? I was so sick. This was like the worst cold and the worst flu you could have. And so, in that perspective, I guess I'm not as surprised that I lost my taste and my smell. Because the first time I was like, man, the boogers, I can't believe I lost my smell. Because the boogers were the least of my concerns the first time that I had COVID. So, but yeah, my smell is starting off at zero again, I guess. And this time I actually lost a lot of my taste as well, which was weird because, you know, I was like, man, I don't normally drink pop, but let me try to drink some pop. And I'm like, pop doesn't really, it's kind of bland. And then I even went and I got some cheese bread. I'm like, let me get some cheese bread with some garlic. Let me get some real strong flavors that I'm choking people out. And I'm like, this is pretty bland cheese bread. I'm like, back in Turkey getting bad food again? There's someone's trying to kill me, this pizza place now. So, but generally speaking now, it's been exactly a week. I just feel like I'm getting over a cold and flu. So much quicker than compared to the first time I had COVID. This time, besides the first 2 days again, which was really bad, this time, again, besides the first 2 days, was really just like a really bad cold and flu. You know what I mean? Like put together. But generally speaking, I just feel tired and I'm back to pre-sickness with this fucking stomach pain from this fucking E. coli infection that has just ravaged my fucking stomach, dude. Like, ridiculous. I can't believe, you know, it's funny. I was talking to this person from Turkey and they were shocked. They were like, I've never seen an American have such bad luck in Turkey like you did. And I'm like, well, and I'm like, trust me, dude. I know if everyone had a time like me, no one would ever go, right? So I'm still bummed about that Turkey trip. I still need to put up the rest of the videos of Turkey, but I've had some, again, if you've seen, like I'm explaining now, I've been in and out of the hospital a lot. You know, I got bronchitis. I got this E. coli infection that really, a really bad one in my stomach. And who knows, maybe I got some other shit too, right? You know what I mean? But this is, at least for the time being, what the doctors are saying. And they actually thought that I had COVID again, maybe because they're like, wow, dude, you are this. They're like, you remind us when we first had patients of like COVID, like, you know, that you seem really sick. And, you know, they were like, well, you're not testing positive for COVID. But eventually, no, I did test positive for COVID again. So, but like I said, it's mostly over now. I just feel tired. Feels like I'm getting over a flu or cold. Which the funny thing is, I can actually say, you know, I'm not someone that normally actually gets flu and colds. I can say from, you know, dedicating my life to being healthy, I normally don't, despite how much other fucking health problems I have. You know what I mean? A strong gust of wind will put me back in the hospital sometimes, it seems, but I normally actually don't get a lot of flus and colds anymore unless I'm really, unless I was at some like huge party or something like that, or I guess randomly when I've gone to an anime con or something, I might get like a sore throat. But I actually, believe it or not, I normally, for as immune compromised as I am, you know, since dedicating my life to being the most healthy I can be since I was dying, you know, I'm not a very big, believe it or not, cold and flu person. At least not like this, you know what I mean? Just like very light flu, light cold, maybe, you know, sometimes. But this was like, oh my God, dude. Like, I can't, I could not even tell you the last time I've had this much boogers, this bad of a sore throat. You know what I mean? Like even the first time I had COVID, it was not like this. This like reminds me of like when you are a little kid almost, and you get a really bad like strep throat or something. That's how bad this sore throat was. And the boogers, and you know, I was so congested. I was so congested that I was actually losing my hearing a couple of the days. I was like, wow, dude, my hearing is actually going out. My congestion is so bad. Oh, and my voice was fucking terrible. If you heard me, I almost lost my voice even. Was it like a day? It was at least a day, almost 2 days, I think. But so anyway, Delta COVID compared to, I'm assuming, this Omnicron. First 2 days, very bad pain. You know what I mean? To the point I was thinking about going to the ER. The rest of this, just like, wow, really bad cold, like sore throat, almost like I had strep throat or something like that. You know, boogers, you know, much more so. It definitely felt much more like a bad cold flu. I keep repeating myself than the first time when I had COVID, which was like, oh my God, this is one of the sickest I've been since I was dying, right? So, hopefully I don't lose a ton of hair again because, you know, my hair is, God, I had COVID, you know, a couple months after I had COVID, my hair started shedding bad. And then I had 10 weeks of just, I was losing more hair than when I did radiation, which of course, which is a caveat or an asterisk mark, because obviously I lost almost all my hair when that happened, and I was wearing a hat for a couple of years waiting for it to grow back. So I think about that too, because it's like, man, I don't remember, you know, those 10 weeks of COVID. I don't remember losing that much hair when I did the radiation and all this stuff. But, you know, I can see the pictures and it's like, well, I know I must have, but it was just, I guess I had, you know, more important things on my mind. Like, oh my God, I'm going to die. Or, you know what I mean? Back then. But this was like, wow, that was bad. And, you know, so I've had about 5 months of very little hair shed whatsoever. And most of it has been growing back. So, you know, I mean, I don't know. People compliment me on my hair. You know what I mean? So most of it has been growing back, but I guess I won't make it to the year mark of people wait a year for all their hair to grow back and then it's back to normal thickness. It looks like maybe I won't get there, but anyway, still other videos to do. I know some people like video game shit, but I've always said I don't actually play a lot of video games. Now that doesn't mean I'm not a nerd. Obviously I'm a nerd, but you know, what is there to do video game stuff wise, you know? So just kind of like, not that I'm not a nerd, but so anyway, probably more normal vlogs for a little bit. Remember, if you like the videos, like, subscribe, comment, share, support the channel if you want. I appreciate it. Thanks, the end.